What's up, guys? Today I got something really special for you. I want to do a comparison video of these two bad boys right here. If you don't know what they are, in my right hand is the SLX DC and in my left hand is the Daiwa Tatula SV103. Both of these reels are fantastic skipping reels. If you've been following the channel at all, you know that I've become kind of obsessed with skipping baits this year, and I want to know which one of these is the best skipping reel at $200. So basically we're going to do a skip off, and we're going to keep everything the same, so it's semi-scientific. I'm not exactly a scientist, but I do know this. You have to compare apples to apples. So we're just doing a comparison of these two reels. That means we're keeping the line the same, 50-pound braid on both. We're keeping the lure the same, and that's this one particular skip and jig, and we're also keeping the rod the same. And the rod I'm going to be using today is this ALX Zolo Toadface. If you know what this rod is, you know. It's a fantastic skipping rod. It's better than most skipping rods on the market. So we're going to keep everything equal and just see which one of these reels is the best skipper at $200.
Alright, what's up, guys? To start our skip off, we'll start with the SLX DC. I've been skipping with this reel for a while, and it is pretty impressive. As you can see, it skips with minimal fluff. Pretty easy to use. You just set it to 4 on that dial there. Hope you can see that. Set it to 4 on that dial, and that's the skipping setting you want. But we're out here to see which one's better, the SV or the DC. As you can see, it skips pretty effortlessly. That was a pretty bad skip and minimal fluff, if any. Again, 50-pound braid, handles it like a champ. Let's see what happens when I make a really bad skip, like just a really violent screw up. See? When you do a bad skip, you get backlashes, but it's not that bad, even on number 4 setting. A lot of fluff, you're going to want to pick that out, but that's hardly going to ruin your day. Let's do another really bad skip and see what happens with this setup. Boom, there you go. So yeah, on your normal skipping attempts, without like obviously trying to slap it across the water, on your normal skipping attempts, you're probably not going to get a backlash to this one, but this one was kind of exaggerated, and you can see the result. It bird's nest pretty good, but pretty easy to pick out. It's not going to ruin your day of skipping. Okay, so we know that the SLX DC is pretty awesome at preventing backlashes while you're skipping. But the other thing I want to add to it, maybe you guys can see this. Here, I'll try to do a really good skip. Like you can, if you're talking about skipping it under docks, like just awesome for that. It's not choked out. It's got enough braking power where you won't backlash, but it doesn't choke it to the point where you can't get it under that dock. You're gonna be able to skip it really far, which is really impressive. And that's the other thing. I guess what we're talking about here when we're comparing skipping reels is we're talking, is it gonna backlash all the time? Because if it is, it's really not a skipping reel, because it's just gonna cause you a day of frustration and ruin the line. So that's number 1, is does it backlash a lot? Number 2 is, will it let you get under there? Will it give you that distance that you need? And with the DC, it really does. So I guess that's what today we're doing most of our judgment on, is distance, backlash proof, ease of use, and adjustability. So now we're going to give the SV103 a shot and see how it does. Same rod, again, same rod, same jig. It's an apples to apples comparison. It's an all things being equal. Same 50-pound braid. I mean, right off the bat, I gotta say, it's pretty close. I think I can probably get, I'm on 20 braking setting right now. And that's the thing that I think the SV103 has an advantage on is, I mean, with the SLX DC, you just set it to 4 and you're good to go, but with the SV103, you get a little bit more, you can do a little more fine tuning. So right now I'm on 20. Let's see how far I can skip it. Pretty far. I would say, and that was a hard skip, and that was probably one of the hardest skips I've made, and there's absolutely no fluff on this reel. So both the DC and the SV are pretty good at preventing backlashes. I don't want to say that either of them is backlash proof. I don't think that's a thing, but man, you're not going to be picking out birds' nests all day with either of these. Let's see what happens, just like I did with the SLX DC. Let's see what happens when I purposely make a crappy skip. Seems to be really hard to do right now. Nothing at all. Look at that. That is crazy. So I guess what that means, it comes down to which one is better will come down to ease of use, adjustability, and distance, because they're both pretty awesome in preventing backlashes. And I gotta say, distance, so far the DC is better, but that is with the 20 brake setting. Now, to keep the DC from backlashing at all, you just set it to 4, but that's all you can do. Well, let's try setting this to 18 on the SV103 and see if that makes a difference in terms of distance. I'm thinking it will, because it's less braking. 18, it gets about the same distance as 20. Let's go down to 16. Eventually I'm thinking this one will backlash, just because you're constantly reducing the braking power. It's a shitty skip. Let's ignore that one. No, now it's making a difference in terms of distance. Turn down the braking to 16, still no backlashes. I think this one even has less fluff than the DC, so that's pretty impressive. The SV is no slouch in the skipping department either. But yeah, you can get a little more distance on this if you just reduce the braking. Let's set it down to 14 now. See if that does anything in terms of distance versus overrun. Okay, better distance, which is awesome, and still no overrun. Honestly, this SV is every bit as good as the DC, and that's saying a lot, because they're both awesome. Yeah, you get serious distance out of this. Here, let's try setting this to 12. Let's try even setting this to 12. We're almost at the halfway point in terms of this reel's braking patch. Yeah, now you can really skip this thing far. And I'm not even that fantastic of a skipper. I've only been doing it for, well, less than a year now, so. But that's ridiculous. Like, you could skip this. There's no dock you couldn't skip this under. Oh yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, the amount of distance you can get on the skip with this SV by adjusting the brakes, and I think that's the big advantage. Like I said before, the DC, you set it to 4, and kind of what you get is what you get. Okay, so see that was a really crappy skip, and that's the first time this thing is fluffed. Honestly, both of these reels are just rock solid for skipping. But yeah, I gotta say, ease of use, maybe give the advantage to the DC, just because set it to 4 and away you go. But that adjustability on that SV, the adjustability is better, and then that also gives you more distance. So I mean, I'm leaning towards the SV big time. Just Jesus, like, look at that. You can get so far under there.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for our skip off today. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, the notifications, and the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Final thoughts. If I had to pick one, luckily I don't, but if I had to pick one, I would go with the Tatula SV. That's just my opinion. I think it's overall the better skipping reel. I got a little better performance out of it, and it also happens to be a lot lighter and a lot more palmable, which appeals to me. So, I mean, either way, you're not wasting your money. Both fantastic reels. and both really good sellers for a reason. So, but if I had to pick one, like I said, it's that Daiwa Tatula SV103 is one of the best reels you can get at that $200 price point. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it. Leave comments down below on what you think about these reels, if you've used them, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.